My name is Mariana Danilovich. I'm the founder of Infium and co-founder of the B&B chain Infium Founders Academy. We're here today with Tammy Yang, who's the CEO and co-founder of Numbers Protocol, a data scientist, a PhD in physics, which is I love that because that's how I made money in college, TAing physics. So we get along just famously. And fresh off the win at South by Southwest as the #1 pitch for the Web3 metaverse space. I've been working with Tammy for almost a year. I've had the pleasure of her company and her brain for almost a year, and she's just exceptional and very justly deserved winner of this South by Southwest pitch. So with that, Tammy, tell us a little bit about, your AI research that you've done and then kind of how you founded the Numbers Protocol and, why you founded the Numbers Protocol.
Yeah, sure. So as Mariana shared, I'm Tammy Young, nice to meet you. As Mariana shared, so previously my background is mainly in data science. I've been working for using data to analyze for, I don't even remember how many years, but many long history. But then starting from 2014, I started working for the AI companies and help them to use the data to create the better AI models and design the AI models and so on. At that time, I focused mainly on the convolutional neural network. Not sure if you know, but that's the model at that time used to build the image recognition model. And then when I was working on that, I was always wondering, so I deal with so many images and videos every single day. And I was always wondering, so who owns this data? And also you see a lot of people, real people, not the AI generated people, but the real people in that photos. And I was also wondering, so do they know that they are now used by creating the AI model? So is it legal? Is it valid to use all this data? So and then I realized data provenance is something which is currently missing on the internet. So in 2019, myself and my co-founder, we started working on Numbers, focusing very much on assuring the provenance of digital media on the internet. So that's how we start the journey.
And in terms of, having these large AI models, which may or may not have, correct input on, from data, why did you choose Web3 sort of as a solution for that?
Yeah, so I think for the there are many people try to address this provenance of digital media problem previously, and there are a lot of spec, a lot of services and so on. But I think after a lot of Web2 companies, they all fail to really create a trustworthy service. So we realized that the only way to make it work for long term and also can encourage the community, everybody to really join that is to create an open and decentralized network. So only when it is open and decentralized, people will trust it and will continuously put in the effort and will really use it. And that gives us a better chance to really build a solution for that.
And then transparency in Web3 is kind of was driven the Numbers Protocol. So would you like to maybe give us that presentation? You can share your screen. I gave you permission if you like to do that. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Let me share.
Perfect.
Yeah. So as I already made the intro, so I'm Tammy from Numbers Protocol. So there recently there are a lot of people talking about debating whether or not AI can learn from human and sell the content without the permission of the original creator. So the way we look at it, we first need to know who are the creators behind, then we know who should receive the credits. So this is an amazing work. So I was trying to figure out who is the creator of that. So I tried to Google. And Google seems to know a lot of similar creations, but it doesn't answer my question. So I still don't know who is the creator behind this work. So the same thing happened when we are looking the information online. So this wildfire photo can be easily misused to spread misinformation on the internet without the proper context, and it will be misused easily. So if Google doesn't work, and we can try Microsoft Bing. So Bing knows a lot of similar events, but it still doesn't answer the most important question, which is when and where the photo was taken. So missing the provenance of digital media is a major problem of the internet today. And that's also the root cause of misinformation, copyright infringement, and many problems. Meeting Numbers Protocol, we are the award-winning startup, and we build open, decentralized, and creator-centric network. So our use cases including Reuters 78 days, Starling and Rolling Stone preserving the censorship-resistant crime evidence. We are also trusted by art, music, NFT, and metaverse platforms to preserve the better provenance of digital media. We create a consumer app and developer API to help users easily create the immutable blockchain records. And the AI-powered search engine will help users to find the traceable and verifiable digital records. Our users are from 190 countries, and we handle 6 billion monthly gateway traffic. All these are artists of work using Numbers Protocol. Without numbers, you soon will not be able to tell whether these creations are from human or from AI. Without numbers, Metaverse is a place with no truth. I'm Tammy, founder of Numbers Protocol. My co-founder, Bofu Chen, has a very long history working in open source. So together, we are capable of delivering a true open and decentralized data solution. So now back to the digital media provenance problem. With numbers, you will know that the creator behind is Ken Herman, and the on-chain record will tells you that the wildfire photo was used by Reuters in article published in 2022, and the wildfire actually happened in Spain. None of the search result was correct. The numbers provide a better digital media provenance, help human and AI to make better decisions. So that's my pitch.
That's amazing. In terms of some of the feedback that you received, at South by Southwest, presenting the fact that you can actually track these media and digital media assets on chain and have more transparency as to who's created them, what they're about, and all the other metadata related to it. What are some of the things that people thought were very important in terms of integrating with, existing media?
Yes. So I think with the rise of generative AI, so the data provenance and traceability definitely become the most critical issue. Without it, so the human creativity can be easily learned and used by the AI, and that's definitely not something happy to the human creators. But at the same time, so from the AI platform point of view, we have a lot of very good conversations with the AI platforms. So they are actually more than happy than everybody to solve this data traceability problem because they want the content generated from their model, from their platforms is legal, is valid to be used so that they can create a better business. So I think that's in general the trend. So people see the strong demands of using the consumer app we build from the creator side integrating the developer API in the platform side, and also the search engine will be able to better help the data used by AI to find the right information. And then maybe in the future, it will be also possible to trace back to the creator and ask them, hey, so do you want to license your creativity to the AI model and then create a proper revenue sharing model in that future?
And you have asked me, I think, within the last month, I think, if I knew any generative AI artists. And so that whole area is developing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening there?
Yeah, so I think for the generative AI art, so currently we mainly collaborate with the platforms itself. So I think AI services is a very special domain, unlike any other services. I think they have a strong need to make sure that every step they take is really responsible for the society. So that's something very special in the AI industry. So when we talk to the generative AI platforms or the tool to help people to generate the generative AI tools, so what they want is the good traceability of all the data, including so the what are the data feeding into their models? That's the first big question. And also, they want to have a good blockchain records for the data generated from their model because they want to show their responsibility they want to take their responsibility to this issue. So people worry about, so what if I cannot tell this one is from a human, this one is from AI, so that the value of the human creativity will decrease. So these are the worries and concerns in general in the creativity space. So they want to take the action and really take their responsibility by creating a transparent on-chain record is immutable, and that content will show to the world. So this is from the AI model, and then that can better distinguish itself from the human creativity.
So looking at, data that has been stolen, like a Cambridge Analytica case or some, that then, had a major ripple through society, an impact on the society for years to come. How would that be preventable with the tools that we have today, for example?
Yeah, so I think we really, really miss the provenance and traceability of data for too long. So you mentioned Cambridge Analytics. I think that those type of data, because there are many different type of data, so those type of data may take even longer to achieve the final goal. But I think we will be there one day. So the way how it can be solved by blockchain technology is so first, if all the data is proper registered in the way that it can be traced back, it can get the proper consent of the owner, then we will be able to create a channel between the data user and a data owner. So whenever the data need to be used, and then it needs to get the proper consent. So back to like 2012 to 2016, basically the way how we consent the data is more like we give up all the rights once to a platform, and that's it. So it's like the platform will ask you, so we may use your data to this and that. Do you consent? Do you agree? And then because we need to use the platform, so we will say, hey, yeah, I consent. That causes a problem. But in the future, it won't be that. So it will be more like, so every activity, it has the opportunity to be recorded on the blockchain, and it will be immutable and traceable. So every action taken, it will properly get your consent, and the consent will, for example, like for valid for a month, or so like for a month, and then you consent all the data, or 6 months, 3 months, and so on. So you can also grant the consent for different period of time. So that will get everybody a better use of the personal data.
And as we start today, if we go to Instagram alone or TikTok, right, there's media everywhere that people have produced, and these Web2 companies are actually benefiting and getting paid for this media that creatives have produced. So when you talk to the creatives who are already influencers on some of these social media platforms, what is the discussion that goes on between where they are today and where they can go, having what we have at numbers?
Yeah. So I received a very interesting question when after the pitch at SourceBuy. So someone come and asked me, so who owns the data? And I was like, so of course, the owner, the creators, they own the data. So no matter how many registrations they made through Numbers protocol on blockchain, and the creator owns the copyright, and the owner of the license owns that license. So that's how the world function. And the person say, yeah, thank you for the answer. I want to know because in the Web3 space, all the Web2 service in the Web2 space, yeah. So all the Web2 services, they own my creation, not me. And oh yeah, then now I know why you have that question. Yeah. So I start from here is because I think for all the creators, the musicians, photographer, artists we met here and in different places, I think their concern and what they really looking for in the Web3 space is truly a user-owned world, a user-owned internet. So they are not comfortable about giving up their creativity to the content platform. So the consequences, it can be even used by the AI model to create something very similar to their style, and then they lose all the opportunities. So I think what they want is to truly own their data, truly own their creativity, and then it will require their consent if these need to be used. And that used to be the rule in the physical world. But just like in the Web3, in the Web2, and suddenly it's like everybody just it doesn't function as we do in the physical world, respecting the creativity and so on. So I think in the creator world, what they are looking for is that, from my point of view, is actually very simple, very fundamental, just respect and can own their own creativity.
Yeah, and that it's really interesting because you spent so many years in AI before you started Numbers Protocol and your own AI startup. And so you're very familiar with what AI can actually do. And here we are, Web3 was developing for like a year, maybe year and a half, as a category, right? It really was. We talked about crypto, we talked about NFTs and DeFi, and a lot of our founders are in those spaces, but no one really kind of put that wrapper of Web3 to it. Maybe it started. I know I was talking about it at a conference. I was on a panel a year ago. It was the only panel at NFTLA about Web3. That was it, our panel. And so it's really not older than, a year and a couple of months, right? So then the question becomes, now we have defined the Web3, as a decentralized next generation of the internet. We have this other thing defined as metaverse. And I think you and I talk about this a lot, which McKinsey is valuing at 5 billion by 2030. Web3 is still valued in 5 trillion. Web3 is still in billions. So you have these two concepts that came about in the last year and a half. And now you're bringing generative AI into the mix. How complicated is that creative world going to get in the next few months, knowing everything that you've been through and knowing everything you know? Isn't it going to get just super complicated to kind of clean that up?
Um, if you are asking like technology wise, is it going to be very complicated? And I think no, because if it's complicated and no one will understand, then no one will use that. So that's always the rule. I just had some conversation with my colleague this morning, and they were saying that they're trying to explain what is Web3, what is blockchain to some creators. And then I said, there is no need to talk about that because technology doesn't matter in the end. What really matters is what problems they have. And then we will provide a solution for them. And then also, if their problem is too complicated to use, we will make it simple. I think that's always the rule.
And I've seen you do this in business development meetings over and over again, bring it down to, the basics, right? And so the basics here are, as you pointed out, the creators want to own their creation and they want to be able to be compensated for their creation. And you have this Capture app was your first sort of proof of concept. Can you tell us a little bit about the Capture app and like what does it really do and how is that useful in kind of teaching people what can be done in the space?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we actually start the journey of creating Capture app at the very beginning when we founded Numbers Protocol. The initial needs was simple. So there are some journalists who are in the danger area, who work in the very danger areas, and they want to take photos and preserve the integrity and provenance of their data. They want to have a signature of the metadata, and also all this can be verified in the future. And there are some requirements such as it need to use a blockchain. So blockchain is normally open and transparent, and also it need to protect their privacy, which is conflict with open and transparency in most cases. And also they need to all the UX to be very simple to use. But at the same time, they are in the areas where they cannot access to internet most of the time. So it's like a lot of requirements are put together. But so in the end, what we realize is what they need is actually something very simple. So today you take a photo and then there is just no real information associated to that. I mean, there are like EXIF or now we have the C2PA, and all these are standards which can use to inject the metadata into the images so that it can somehow achieve the similar goal. But what if, because when you upload the photo to different platforms, share it with your friends or the target audience, and then it will be compressed and all this information will be missed. So I think eventually what we realize is, so a very simple tool is missing today. So the function of that should be, you take a photo and then it will automatically help you to preserve the provenance. And that provenance, people don't really care about whether it's on blockchain or not. But of course, we think that the best way is to preserve that on the blockchain. So once that kind of a tool can be created, and it has a huge potential because once you can prove this is taken by you, and then you can monetize it. And once you prove that it is taken by you, and then it can be shared and used by and licensed by news media. So this very simple and fundamental tool, and actually it was missing. So that's the whole point we create Capture app. So we made it, so the core mission of Capture app is to fill the gap and achieve this mission. And at the same time, we do our best to put the engineering effort to make it very easy to use. User experiences very similar to any other camera app.
And so once you snap that photo, you're automatically tracking that photo on chain. They can then create an NFT, right? And place it on different marketplaces. So you want to describe how that works?
Yeah, so I think minting NFT, as many of the participants here may know, is actually not very challenging. So it's not a very difficult process as long as you deploy a contract and then you mint the NFT and it's done. So in the app, we also provide the NFT minting process for the users. So they take a photo and the provenance will be traced on chain, and then they can mint it to the NFT on Ethereum, and then sell it on OpenSea, Polygon, they'll sell on OpenSea, and then many other blockchains and so on. So I think the key point which make Capture app very different from the other app is, so all the NFT minted from Capture app, you can truly believe that it is from this person. So it is not like a random upload to OpenSea. So it is truly the photo created and owned by this person, and which make the NFT valid and also valuable.
And then you can pull it off from OpenSea and put it on some other, marketplace if you wanted to, and it won't be duplicated. It would
Yeah.
be a transaction. The Capture app would actually let you do that and do it for you in a correct way, so you don't have two of these NFTs out there floating on two different marketplaces, right? And so it tracks its movement across NFT marketplace. But so this is, and you have a lot of installed base on this. What, 600,000 at this point? It's like a Web3 camera, basically. All right, but that's just a proof of concept. But you really have this larger sort of platform that can help manage media assets more effectively. When you were building this, Web3 platform, did you think of any other issues like royalties and tracking of, things that may have been stolen? You built that AI search engine for that?
Yes. So I think as a start, so we always try to be very focused and focusing on the value that only us can deliver, but no one else, which is to assure the provenance of digital media. So the key activity our users will do through, no matter through the Capture app or through the developer API, is the first one is registration on the blockchain. So that's one. And second, once it's registered, so as Mariana mentioned, so the search engine can help them to monitor the whole Web3 space and help them to find the misuse of their IP or the potential theft, or anyone mint the NFT using their IP without their consent and so on. So like a few days ago, we had a demo to Disney, and so I think they knew so their IPs, because everybody loves their IPs. So they somehow knew that there may be some people out there minting NFT using their IPs, but they are still shocked when we use the search engine to show them how many Mickey Mouse are out there in the marketplace, and people are earning money from there. And they were surprised, super surprised, because they saw the PR they from the OpenSea, and they saw that so OpenSea has the protection, claiming that they will protect the creators and will disable the items which violate the copyright. So they trust that. So they thought, oh yeah, so you already take the action. But what we showed them is no, because if there is no, because if the fundamental solution is not implemented, if you only look at the NFT space instead of the digital media file itself, and you can only solve a very tiny problem in the NFT space, and that's just like what OpenSea showed today. So they're still not, they may be able to track contract by contract, verifying this contract is true, this contract is authentic, this contract is fake. However, what if Disney doesn't mint Mickey Mouse NFT? And then you have no way to track that. But the AI technology today, it allows you to find those. You can actually use our search engine to find those NFTs very easily. But I think, yeah, so there is still a gap between digital media world and also the Web3. Currently, according to all the feedback we receive in source by source, so I think we're proud to play part of the bridge to bridge the two sides together and then provide the solution. And I'm also very optimistic because what the feedback we receive in SourceFi is everybody is talking about this problem and everybody is looking for the solution. When this kind of timing comes, and it means that there will be more solutions and more other companies doing something similar to numbers, but addressing different part of the problems. And then, yeah, so soon I think the problem will be solved, and the creators will have and also IP owner will have a safer internet.
And so it's so interesting that you showed that to Disney because, NFTs like are a drop in Disney's bucket kind of a thing. When you look at the big problem, it's a $50 billion problem for the film and television industry, give or take, um, globally on piracy alone. And streaming was supposed to stop it, but made it easier than ever to steal, this stuff from these centralized databases. And so what you're saying to them is like, okay, we can show you where all your NFTs have been copied, and your search engine doesn't just, if it's a Mickey that actually Disney put out there as an NFT, it doesn't just show you that one Mickey, but all the iterations, color wise, shape wise, size, different positions of that Mickey has. It kind of searches all. How does that work? Because that's really on the way to solving the $50 billion problem.
Yeah, so we actually scan through the whole NFT space, and soon we'll extend that to the AI space, scan through the all AI training data as well. But for now, so we scan through all the NFT space, and we feeding the images and videos into our AI model so that they can recognize. Yeah, as the opening I mentioned, so I previously work on the imagery and video recognition AI, so that's part of my expertise. We scan through the very huge NFT space and then feeding the images and videos into the AI model. So whenever you ask the model, so I have a Mickey, so help me to find the similar ones, and it will find the best match for you. So that's basically how it works.
So today, maybe do you want to do a little demo of that? Because like picture's worth 1,000 words. I don't know if you have access to a demo there. Can maybe
Yeah.
have Vera do a demo, whatever is easiest.
I think I didn't prepare that, but I think I should be able to
Okay.
do this very quickly.
And then you can do your prepared presentation. I think I hijacked it because of the success at South by Southwest.
Yeah. Sorry, let me check. Yeah. So this is the search result. So everyone is a asset minted as an NFT in the NFT space, and so according to our knowledge, so these are not really from Disney, but from someone else to mint it and sell it on the NFT space. So yeah, so this is a problem. So we have the UI interface that's NFT search site, so you can upload a Mickey image, and then you will see how many there are in the space. And also we provide the API for the institution and companies to integrate so that they can scan through their IPs and find the potential theft. And also we provide the dashboard to the users, and they can so the dashboard will have the engine behind to scan through the whole NFT space every day and notify them if there is a potential theft found.
Wow. Those all look real to me. That's insane. And so they did not recognize any of them basically. They were not Disney's NFT drop of any kind.
At least in the call, so that's my understanding.
Wow, that's fascinating. And the Birkin bag, I think the person who dropped that NFT got sued, by Hermes. Um, even though it didn't even really look like a real Birkin, it was just like some sort of a, painting of it, right? These
Yes.
don't look like paintings. They look like real animated character that you would watch on your screen kind of a thing. They're not even attempts at creating art. And if you use generative AI art, then you can
Yeah.
have millions more probably. So you're basically, I think your point to Disney was, look what's going on with your IP property in the NFT space, which is generating quite a bit of money right now, and you're really not benefiting from that. And
Yeah.
you can then think about your film and television business, which globally, all film and TV is losing about 50 billion. So you're part of that loss, and you can see how that's going to kind of increase in this environment, right? So that's a very interesting thing. Is there anything else that you would like to talk to founders about, or maybe have a conversation with them, present to them? Because I'm just amazed in everything you've done at South by
I
Southwest.
I raise my hand because I have a question. Is it appropriate?
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, she said, and you said, according to our knowledge, does it mean you do not have information on who or which wallet minted those NFTs or who uploaded that data?
Oh, we know. We do know.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is there a way for you to map that data to known identities if they provide them, like register their identity on your protocol so you can tag those images as reals and find their owners and such?
Yes, that's what we do. So we collaborate with IP owner and creators directly, so that we would know so which one is from them. But as you can imagine, actually, in the creator space, I would say like a rough estimation is 95% of the creation work is definitely not in the NFT space. So the bigger problem today is not matching which wallet is the creator, but they didn't issue the NFT, but someone used their IPs, and then mean as NFT.
Okay, yeah, but what I'm saying is, assuming I am the owner of the IP, right? And I upload an image to OpenSea, your service won't know that I am actually the owner. Like, there is no way for me to tell your service that I'm the owner of that IP. I need to actually contact you and say, hey, all these NFTs actually belong to me, right? Is that this is
If
not a
you yeah
self-service?
if you upload through other services, so I won't say 100% we could recognize that, but we do collaborate with many different services and also the NFT marketplaces. So if they got the so for example, if you upload to NFT trade and then you tell them that you are the owner of that, and then in that case, so because each marketplace, they have their own collaborative creators. So in that case, then we will know. But if you just upload a photo without telling that service, without telling us, you can prove you are the creator, and then no, we will not know you are the creator.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, White Fang, I DM you.
Yeah, it's a big deal because at the end of the day, the validity of the upload matters, right? Of the input of the data. And if there is a standard that provides validation by you and by the community, right? Then, which is Web3 way, right? Then you will de facto have to use that standard. So that's kind of where this is going.
Yeah, totally agree. I think so currently it's just at the beginning. So in late April, we will also have a program open to all the creators to register their creativities for 1 month for free. So that will also help them to have to get a chance to let us know. So this is my creations, and I want to have the right registration on the blockchain, and also some partnerships such as collaborating with collectors, the galleries, directly, so that we will know that so who is the right owner and right creator of the creation behind, and also the collaboration with the creator tools. So that's the third way that we are exploring the coverage. So I will say in general, so the current coverage is not yet very big. So like we can cover the NFT space, and also we cover the well-known creations. But if we consider that like billions of people in the world, they are all creators and they make creations every day. And if we consider all those creations on Instagram, TikTok, and then so on, I will say the coverage is still today is small. But I think what's more important is we have the right framework to make it right. So by providing the creator an incentive, so that incentive is not money or token, but we provide you a certificate on the blockchain so that you can use it, proof this is from you, and then we can help you to monitor the Web3 space and more like in the internet space in the coming future, and you get some protection. So by providing them the incentive, and they have the motivation to do the registration. So making the framework right, so that's the most important thing, I believe, for now.
How many NFTs are you guys now searching with that search engine? It was like a tremendous, I forget, like the numbers increase every week.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact numbers as well, but roughly 100 million. Yeah, so the last time I saw it is around 700 million NFT tokens, and that can translate to roughly 80 million assets. So yeah, so because so in many cases, one asset, one digital media will be minted as multiple NFTs. So that's why the number of assets is less than the number of NFT tokens.
And the market keeps growing every day because the
Yeah.
NFTs are now a solution to worldwide marketing. So
Yeah.
this thing grows daily. So it's not just
Yeah.
art, and it's not, just media, but it's really like ticketing and accessing consumers and having a lifetime value of the consumer. So it's just growing in every direction. So that this will get more and more complicated.
Yeah.
Is there something that we didn't cover from your presentation, Tammy, that you'd like to talk about?
No, I think I have talked a lot. So actually, if there's any question, I'm happy to take those if we still have time.
We still have a few more minutes. You want to maybe just talk a little bit about, maybe your fundraising process, because people here are very interested in fundraising. They're interested in how you assembled your team, how you grew your company. So maybe just give a few minutes about that, because that's what we're all in the business of here, is getting these companies to the next level.
Yeah, sure. So we have our the initial seed funding closed in late 2020, roughly. Yeah, so I think late 2022, early 2021. So that's when we closed the seed funding. And then in 2021, in the end of 2021, we decide to launch the token. So we don't see token as part of the fundraising. We see token more as the funding for creating the liquidity of our project. And as a Web3 project, we need liquidity so that we can provide a better incentives to all the users in the network. And now we are working on the next fundraising. So the next round will be Series A. So that will be the target.
Yeah, and so we talked about this liquidity issue. So, you had some really well-known angels in the seed round, and so you were sort of in the branded fundraising category early on. And when you launched the token, it really wasn't just it wasn't like a fundraising, but you basically told yourself, we got to have a creator community. And I think we had Charles from Galaxy talk about this at length last week, why everybody in Web3 has to have an incentivized community and a liquidity in that community, either with NFTs or with tokens or with both, in order to have participants be sort of engaged in the community. As if you have an engaged community and then the company B over here doesn't have one, and it's just all funded by VCs in traditional equity sense, then it's not competitive. And so can you kind of explain how you envision your token economy with respect to the creatives?
Yes. So I think the importance of the token is it is almost for us is a must as a Web3 startup. So the reason why it is a must is very simple, because every transaction on chain, it will require you the gas fee, and gas fee will be paid with tokens. So that's so that's how we see it. So that's the number one. So why we will need a token, and two, I think so in order to create a open and decentralized network that involves in many different parties, including our own community, the creator community, and more users out there. So I think all of them are very important to the growth of the whole project. So token plays a very important role here, because with token, so people will be incentivized by performing like they you can design some program. For example, if you create your if you put your creations to the network in a certain period of time, and also for the certain type of creation, and then you got rewarded with some token, so that token can help them to register even more. So it's like it gives them the initial incentive, so to try it and then win some token, and that token can help them to do more registration for more creativities in the coming future. So that all become a very positive cycle in the network. So I think that's actually a very good and successful strategy for us to issue the token in late 2021.
And so it's interesting because your token is very kind of narrowly focused on the utility of driving the network. It's not really a marketing token per se. Like when Charles was talking last week, he talked about people airdropping more tokens to incentivize the community, to bring more people in, to be a member of the community that's active, that's aggregating other members. Then he talked about NFT drops to get people excited about access to this or that kind of function, club, project, service. But yours is very, very focused on just powering up the ability to store these assets and to manage these assets on chain. But it doesn't really go into all of these variety of marketing functions, right? But that is a possibility in the future. But I think the difference between you and I would say 99% of the NFT communities out there, right, is that you're actually trying to help people make money, period, from their creation in any way they can. It's not only NUM token kind of payment, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, so we are very utility focused. So we sometimes will also have some marketing campaigns, and we will also leverage the word, because community likes that. So we will sometimes leverage the word, like we will have an airdrop. But if you look into the details, you will notice that our airdrop is quite different from the other airdrops, because we normally will design it in the way that the true users will get more. So I think that's very important, because so I mean the token incentive should go to people who really care and people who really use your products. So I think so those incentives just you need this incentive just for the early stage. So like in Web2, I think what happened is you have to build your product and just keep building, and you do the fundraising, and then keep building until it is mature, and then user comes. So token, it opens a very different way, because it's like the community and these users, they grow with you. So they come early because here they get some incentives, so they're happy. But the most important question for us to consider is, how do you keep them staying here and keep using product? Because if they keep using product, and the incentives will be turned into a very good feedback to improve your product in the coming future. So that's how we see the relationship between the token incentives and also the community. So yes, so as you mentioned, so we are very utility focused.
And that's fundamentally different than really 99.9% of NFT drops or even community launches. They're all very similar. They're about like, here is this token because you're actually a coin, whatever, because you're participating in building the network, you're participating in growing the network, you're participating in marketing the network, and you get different kinds of amounts of token for each one of those. Yours is really pretty much, we're building this network for you guys so you can get paid for everything you do, and you're just going to have to pay the gas fees, but it's otherwise free to use. It's a very different approach, I think.
Yeah.
It's a different token model. So when people are considering, how to create a tokenized economy, this is another option that you don't see very often in our space. The other option of just overusing the token all the time and not really stepping back and saying, what is the solution and why do we have this token and what part of the solution is it solving? So focus it on that first. And then if you want to grow it in all these other marketing directions, you can, but you have to kind of deliver on the initial utility. And I think that it's always the other way. Like they drop the NFTs, they start, they launch the tokens, and then the utility will hopefully come at some later date, right? Where here, the utility was very clear, and it was not tied to the num token from day one. It was tied to you as a creator getting access to your value and monetizing that however you can. It's like a different approach, I think.
Yeah. So I won't say we do it perfectly. I mean, we are learning and adjusting the strategy every single day, because this is really a new area. But I think the principle we try to always remember and keep is, so there is a lot of something to earn out there. Almost every Web3 project have this something to earn. So I think that's the main purpose for token, because it incentivizes people to come because they want to earn. So I think what we try to always remember is, so they earn the token. So what do we earn? I mean, not me, but as a project and product. So they earn the token this time. So what do we earn from their activity? So that's a very important question that we always ask when we do any campaigns or activities related to token, because that for us, that's the only way to keep growing, instead of like sending out the token and then people get the token and then leave and done and finished. Yeah, so we always try to ask us this question. So this campaign, this time, this function. So if people will earn the token, and then what will the project earn?
That's awesome. So yeah, I've learned a lot just working with you guys and seeing how you're managing your token economy. And it's very organized, but it's also sort of step by step, kind of seeing what the community needs, delivering that, one step at a time, but always delivering, which is also unusual for the space we're in, which is an unusual effect. So, Tammy, congratulations on everything. It was just a delight to talk to you as always. Is there anything else you want to tell the founders as to, as they pursue their goals and get these next set of companies to the unicorn level?
No, I think I already talk a lot, but yeah, so Mariana taught me not to talk too much about myself, company, but share more. And I hope I didn't talk too much, but I hope I share. So if there are anything that you think I could help, or any question or any like partnership collaboration that we could build together. So my email is, let me type here. Yeah, so my email is numbers, Tammy@numbersprotocol.io. So yeah, so if you, yeah, as I mentioned, so any question, feedback, or any you think that the opportunity that we could work together, or if you know any creator tool, or even the generative AI platform that they are looking for service like numbers to help them. So please, happy to learn.
Thank you, Tammy. Back-to-back presentations for South by Southwest and us. We're very grateful. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Safe
Thank
travels.
you. Yeah, you
Bye.
too. Thank you. Bye bye.